There's a lot in this few little short sentences, because it's very easy to feel like everything is very personal. And in a way it is, because for each of us, we are all, in a way, the stars of our own little show, you know, the John show, the Mary show, the Bill show, and everybody else is just like a player in that. And it's a good perspective to have in one way, once you don't let your mind kind of attach to it too much, because the show ends every night. We go into deep dreamless sleep. There's no show anymore. You remain, but not in the way that you normally know yourself, or not in the way that you relate to yourself as viewed through the lens of this is the John show. So say that. But what you may find is the more you go into consciousness and the more your consciousness expands, the less your presence in a situation has to do with you and your life and what you're figuring out. And it's got a lot more to do with the other person. That you are in your place, meaning you're where you're supposed to be, and you are being the way you're supposed to be. And we can kind of feel like everything is to do with us, and it's all about us. But, you know, if you've ever felt like somebody was upset with you, and then you ask them, and they're like, no, it's nothing to do with you. I had a fight with my partner before I left the house. I'm worried about something. And you realize that this whole psychodrama that you had been creating in your head about why the person suddenly doesn't like you anymore was just that, all in your head. So it's a good kind of default position to go to of like, maybe this is not about me. It's very helpful to run it through that filter. Maybe this person's got something going on. Maybe this has very little to do with me. So it's paradoxical, like everything in the spiritual life. On the one hand, everything has everything to do with you because it's all part of your show, so it's all significant. But in terms of the specifics, is that person annoyed at me? Is my friend no longer my friend? Those kind of things, you could kind of go, maybe it's not to do with me. Maybe it isn't what I think it is. And then the other key thing is this idea of feeling, that it's not as personal as it feels. Because feelings are like the weather. They're like the clouds. They come and they go. And it's very important and helpful to be able to tell the difference between feelings, intuition, communication from deeper parts of you, interference from the psychic world, all these different things. It's very helpful to be able to separate them out and know which is which. Because feeling like everything is personal might be just a feeling, and it might not be correct. It's valid. All your feelings are valid. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. But to use them as a measure of what's actually going on is probably, they're not that reliable. And feeling like things are personal, when you run it through this thing of like, well, maybe it's not about me. Maybe it's to do with the other person. Maybe it's to do with the other group of people. Maybe it's to do with a lot of other things that I don't know why they're behaving the way they're behaving. That helps to balance the feeling of it's personal. It helps you to zoom back from it a little bit and not take it so personally. When you don't take it so personally, you can pull back a little bit from it and go and maybe see some of the other things that are going on. So maybe it's not as personal as it feels, and feelings are lovely, but not a necessarily great measure of what's actually going on.